Latinx Art Beyond the Border was curated by myself and guest curator Josie Talamantes. The exhibition theme, which is to say that we were looking at artwork that discussed artists' feelings about the border wall and about border immigration policies in the US. And that is really, the whole show was themed on that. And particularly talking about how we want to treat people. In terms of immigration, it's not so much about what your stand is on policy, but what the overall policy outcome should be, in that we should really be respectful and careful on how we treat people as they immigrate in asylum to the US.
The piece that I have behind me is part of this really immense series that I've been working on for a really long time that's been culminating in my head about me, about my family, and about my culture, and about the times that we're going through right now. I think it's really important to have work like this and not kind of just like pass it by like we do on social media, because there's so many things that are going on that have become so common to us that I feel like we kind of have to like stop and look at things and think, is this right? Like, is this morally right? Is this the right thing to do to one another, to treat one another these kinds of ways? And I think that's why I created this series, like this piece behind me. It's part of this bigger picture of the immigrant community, of the struggle, and of this like crossroads of being a Hispanic. Like, where do you see yourself? Where do other people see you? Do you think it's right to be here and be a Hispanic? Do you think it's wrong to be here and be a Hispanic? And why should you have to feel that way? Like, why should you have to feel like it's bad to be here? Why do I have to think about that? And it's these things that I feel like are important and are things that we have to look at. Like this one, there's 3 pieces. So there's a good side, so it's like the good things, the strong things, a powerful immigrant that comes here for like a better future, comes here for their family, and comes here, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle to be here and to be part of this community, but you wouldn't have it any other way because it's so great and there's so many great things about being here. But at the same time, on my right, your left, it's also really difficult, and there's a lot of dark sides, and there's a lot of bad things, and there's a lot of negativity. Heard a lot of things and experienced a lot of things where people would say certain things to you, like, you don't belong here, you guys are all rats, you guys just come here and steal jobs. But are we really stealing jobs, or are we just trying to create a better future? Like, there's 2 sides to everything, right? So then that's where the middle panel comes in, where it's like this divide of good and bad, because there's a little bit of good and bad within, I think, a lot of things that we kind of have to look back and think about and think what is actually the right and the wrong thing to do. And it's scary. It's scary times that we're living in, and I wanted to capture this moment because it's this ongoing cycle. So this series is an ongoing cycle because it's just constantly going on. It's constantly being repeated. And the question here is why? Why is this still a thing that's happening? Why are we still treating each other this way when we're all here for a better future? And regardless if some people do bad, that doesn't mean we're all bad.
Well, it's really critical today, more than ever, with the crisis that's happening at the border wall, really due to the U.S. immigration stance, their lack of wanting any kind of asylum to the U.S. And I think that it's important to talk about the need for asylum and the careful consideration we need to have with how we treat people coming to our country in seek of asylum, and just even just immigrating to America, and why they may need to do that.
A lot of my students go through this type of stuff, and I've seen some of my students come to school crying the next day, and we find out that when they got home, nobody was home because it was a traffic stop, or for whatever, a broken taillight or whatever it may be. They stopped they stopped somebody, pulled them over, then they went to the whole house, and then they took everybody. And so that happens a lot. So that's what this is talking about. This is talking about over 500 years of resistance already. We've been here for thousands of years. This is our land. Then we showed courtesy to the outsiders, and today we're treated like the outsiders. They call us aliens. They call us illegals on our own land. So that's what this painting is talking about. Is like, hey, hold up, man. We've been here for thousands of years. We're never going to go anywhere. But today, even still today, we're still being persecuted. We're still being killed. We're still being corralled. We're still being misdirected, separated. You got people from Guatemala. You get people from El Salvador. And so they just come for work. You know, the coyote sometimes leads them to their death. You know, separating families and separating and doing all that kind of stuff. It's important to talk about because it can happen to anybody in our families. And so we need to be prepared. Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do if that happens? And so some people never have that conversation. They go to work, they come back home, and they don't really have a life.